Welcome back, casual gardeners. I thought it would be fun to update you on what things are like in my greenhouse in Zone 6 in December. So it's about the middle of December right now. The outdoor temperature as I speak is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, but the temperature in here is almost magical. Oh, it's so nice in here. I've looked at temperatures over the past month and picked out the lowest the temperature got. And I did that looking at, because I don't have a reliable record for outside temperatures that I've been collecting. So I used online databases, and I found that the lowest the temperature has been in Logan, Utah has been 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I went back, and I do have a good record of temperatures here in the greenhouse. Where did I put my thermometer? There it is. So here's my thermometer. It records the temperature. Here in the greenhouse, the temperature has not dropped below 21 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is an 8-degree difference between outside the greenhouse and inside the greenhouse at night at the lowest temperature. Now, when things are a little bit on the warmer side, I've noticed that that difference can shrink to about 4 or 5 degrees Fahrenheit. During the daytime, it's a very different story. Right now, the temperature outside is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and the temperature inside my greenhouse is 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a significant difference. It's more than 50 degrees Fahrenheit warmer inside the greenhouse than it is outside the greenhouse. I've also found that on cloudy days, and this was kind of a surprise for me, even on very overcast days, it's still, during the daytime, 10 or even 20 degrees Fahrenheit warmer inside the greenhouse than it is out there, which tells me that there are some wavelengths aside from visible that are getting trapped in here, and greenhouse effect. These conditions are actually really good so far for growing things. If you wanted to, in a greenhouse that is not dropping below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, you could grow lettuce, you can grow spinach, you can grow beets and kale, carrots will grow. There are a lot of crops that will grow right now in the greenhouse in these conditions. And in fact, I'm about to start some lettuce and spinach and maybe some beets to see how they do over the next couple of months in the greenhouse. Now, all of that said, this is not the coldest month of the year. That's going to come next month after the solstice. So it'll be interesting to see how the greenhouse handles under those conditions. Luckily, here in Utah, things do tend to stay pretty clear most of the time. Our cold days are also clear days because this is a dry state. There are some design features that I included in this greenhouse that are not working well for me right now. Now, one of the things is I did need to adjust my vents. They were opening a little bit too soon. During the summer, when things are getting very hot, it's nice to have your vents kind of start to open when the temperature gets to 70 degrees. But these guys, when they're opening at 70 degrees in the winter, you're starting to let a lot of that good thermal energy out that you would rather trap in your structure. These barrels probably were not getting as warm as they could have if there had been more warm air around them for a longer part of the day. So I have adjusted them. These knobs allow me to adjust my vents, and now they're staying a little bit more closed. You can see it's almost open because I think this is about as warm as I want it to get, but I don't want them starting to open as soon. Another problem I ran into is the louvered vent down at ground level doesn't ever completely close, so it was pretty bad. I've plasticed over it for the winter so that is now sealed because it was making it really hard for me to hold on to heat. Something I still need to do is paint my barrels black. As I touch the top of this barrel where it's not in contact with the water, it is really toasty, but down on the side where it's in contact with the water, it's water temperature, and the water is actually quite cool right now. Not cold, cold. I wouldn't want to swim in it. But if I were to paint the barrels black, then a lot more of the energy that's coming in the form of sunlight would be absorbed during the day and radiate into the greenhouse at night, and I might be able to keep my temperatures a little bit higher. Another problem I have is that I only have 4 55-gallon barrels of water in here. For a structure with this volume, I'd be better off with 5 55-gallon barrels. So if you've got a 8-foot by 12-foot greenhouse, your target is 5 barrels, not 4. Another problem that I have is that there is no fan in here. I don't have electricity running to the greenhouse, and that means that I can't run a fan. I do. You might have seen my short where I'm all excited about a new solar fan that I've installed. That worked for about a week, and then it failed spectacularly. I do have a solar ceiling fan that I am excited to get installed in here. It's going to sit up around here and just blow downward. Hopefully that will help keep the air mixing up. Because I don't have a lot of air movement in my greenhouse, I've noticed that there is a huge difference between the temperature at the top of the greenhouse and the temperature down at the ground level. And that is problematic. Right now, the gravel and bricks that are my floor are very, very cold. And that's the level where I would probably be growing things right now because, well, I've got these grow bags that I intend to fill with soil. So ground level is my growing space. So it is getting colder down there than it is up here. Please leave a comment about, well, any questions you have about my experience greenhouse growing, or any suggestions that you might have to help me or perhaps somebody else reading the comments with their own temperature regulation. So down on the right side, you will find a link to my video specifically about what I've done to prepare my greenhouse for the winter. And over here on the left, I've just linked you to my greenhouse playlist, where if you wanted to, you could just play through and see all about my greenhouse. Thank you for joining me today in my greenhouse, and I hope you have a wonderful time in your own garden.